First shots with the new Shield Plus. We'll see how it goes. Again, first shots. Can't really do better than that. Welcome back, everybody. As you probably guessed by the title, this is the gun that we're going over today. This is the Smith Wesson Shield Plus. Now, the Plus is the new part of it, right? So the Shields have been out for a while. The originals, then the 2.0s, and the Performance Centers. This is the newest one. The big change here, as you might expect, is that we have a 10-round flush fit magazine, and then additionally it comes with a 13-round magazines. These are double stack mags tapered up to a single stack there at the top, whereas the original Shield, which we'll show you in a comparison here really quickly, rather coming up quickly, was sort of a 1.5 stack. This is definitely a double stack mag in terms of how they go in there, and it only adds a touch of width to the frame, and you still get that ultra compact feel that Shields are known for. Very easy to carry. You just get extra capacity, which certainly is a good thing. One thing that is important for that, if you already own a Shield, is that all of the holsters are compatible as well. So that certainly is nice, but I suppose we'll get up close and personal and kind of look at this gun compared to a couple competitive offerings, go over its features, those sorts of things, and then sort of wrap it up with what I think at the end. Before we compare it to some competitive options here, I'm just going to go over the pistol's details. So of course we do have our magazine, like I said, flush fit there on the 10-rounder. Magazine release there is not ambidextrous, however, it is reversible. So if you want to put it over here for you left-handed folks, you can do so. And you can see the magazines are cut for either side. Grip angle there is that 18-degree grip angle, 1911-ish. It just points very naturally for a lot of people. The grip texture is somewhat aggressive, however, compared to my 2.0 here, it's a little bit less aggressive. I'm not sure why that is, but it is a little bit less aggressive, but it's definitely more aggressive than like a Gen 1 Shield, just to kind of give you some perspective on that. Continuing on up, we do not have a thumb safety on this version. However, they do offer it with an external thumb safety. They also offer it in the Performance Center series. So if you guys want those features, that is an option as well. We have our slide lock and slide release there. It has good serrations on it. Very easy to actuate if you want to do it one-handed with those serrations. It takes some pressure, but you know, you get a good grip surface on there. We have our takedown lever, which we'll show you here in just a second. And then the trigger is actually an upgrade over the standard Gen 2s, in my opinion, because we have that flat face shoe on there. We have this piece, which is our trigger safety, which prevents the trigger from being pulled unless you actually pull it. So if you drop it or something like that, you don't have to worry about the trigger going rearward. And then we have our over travel stop there at the back. So you don't have a lot of over travel with it as well. But there you go. You see our take up there. And then almost immediately it hits a wall. My microphone probably will not pick up the reset, but I assure you it's there. Back on it. Not a lot of movement, and then of course our over travel stop there is preventing it from going back, and it breaks right at 5.5 pounds on my scale, and it's crisp. That was one of the problems with the original Shields, is that the triggers weren't all that crisp. Additionally, the resets weren't all that positive. This one has positive reset and a crisp trigger for a striker fire gun. Now it's not going to win like a trigger contest, but it is very shootable, and if you're missing, it's not the gun's fault, it's your fault. So there is that. And then our dust cover there is the same as the original Shield, so any of your accessories, lights, lasers, those sorts of things that you want to put on there will work just fine in there. Slide has that Armor Night finish, which is Smith & Wesson's version of nitriding. So very corrosion resistant, durable, scratch resistant. Even if you get to the point where you wear the finish off that you can visibly see, it's actually impregnated into the metal after that for corrosion resistance and those sorts of things. So that is good. We have our little serrations there up front, which I always joke are not really usable because the frame here swells out right there. So there's really no way to use them for press checks, but I guess they look good. Takes a little bit of weight off. Speaking of weight, we'll roll the weight in here so you guys can see that and just all the other dimensions on it. And then we have really good serrations here at the rear. The scallop serrations are excellent. They give you a good gripping surface. And just overall very easy to manipulate the slide for a pistol of this size. Looking at it from the top, you can see that we do have a loaded chamber witness hole there, so if there was a round in the chamber, you'd be able to see it there in the daylight. This particular version comes with just standard steel white sights, 3-dot configuration. I did put the excess sights in there that you guys see here. Any shield sights will work on this pistol, so you can see we sort of have these blacked out ones with not a lot going on to draw your eye in with that square notch. And up front we have the bright orange circle, very visible in the day, and of course those are tritium as well. To take the pistol down, very simple, you can lock it to the rear. At this point they have a sear disconnect in there, which is that yellow piece. I'm not sure if it shows up on camera. You can pull that forward if you don't want to press the trigger. However, if you don't mind pressing the trigger, all you're going to do is rotate this lever here. And I do have the full video on how to clean the Shield series. And then once you release your slide, you point a safe direction, pull the trigger, slide will come right off. Inside, everything really does kind of look the same as your traditional Shield. That is that sear level I was talking about there. You guys can see it now. Much easier, the yellow one there. That will allow you to not press the trigger should you choose not to do so. We do have our steel guide rod and spring, and then our barrel. And it has a nice wide feed ramp on there. We fed hollow points through it, had no issues with it as you would expect. The gun's designed to be a defensive gun, so Smith & Wesson definitely, had that in mind when they were designing it. You can see no machine marks, great finish overall in there. Nothing really fancy, nothing to complain about. And the reassembly is just the same in reverse order. Viewers of the channel here know that I have a number of Shields. This is just the first one I picked out, but just to compare it size-wise, it'll give you guys a good idea. It's the Performance Center M2.0, and again, it is identical in size when you're looking at it from this angle. However, again, from this angle, you can see it is a touch wider, almost nothing. When you grip it, if you grip the two back to back, you will feel it. However, when I just picked it up, it felt like a Shield to me. And again, I have a lot of rounds through Shields, so ergonomics are really going to be pretty much identical. But the big difference again is in those magazines. This is our former Shield mag, our original Shield mag, I guess you could say. This one here is going to hold 8 rounds, or 7 rounds, excuse me, plus 1. Then they also have an 8-rounder as well. And you can see just how they widened it out a little bit versus the original one. Additionally, you guys can see the trigger on it is different as well. We had this sort of safety there on the bottom of the trigger on the original Shields, and then here on the Plus, it's a little bit more traditional in that design. And here we have a couple competitive offerings, sort of the ultra compact 9mm guns here. Our SIG P365, both of these have lights on it, so just work with it for what we have right now. 365 though, comparison wise, you guys can get a look there how it is. It's shorter overall for sure by a scotch. But looking down at it in terms of slide width, very similar overall, and width, very similar overall as well. Then moving over to our 43X here from the Glock. It's a much bigger gun, the 43X is. In terms of, I shouldn't say much bigger, but when we're talking about guns like of this size, a little bit sort of is a lot. So you can see we have longer area there in our grip. But if we compare it here to our 13-round mag, it becomes very similar at that point in terms of size. In fact, it's the exact same. I'm holding the slides together, and it is exactly the same size. However, with, of course, the 43X with factory mags, you're getting 10+1, and here you're getting 13+1. At this point in the video, I think we've gone over all the important features of the gun, comparisons to other options, those sorts of things, but there's 2 other things that are always going to be very important in my opinion. Number 1 is going to be reliability. Now, I just got this gun in last week. Full disclosure, Smith & Wesson did send it out for this review and only went out a couple times to shoot it. But we have just under 400 rounds through it, so not a ton, but again, it is also 2021, so ammo is hard to come by, but 0 malfunctions of any kind. We ran some Federal HSTs through it, 124 and 147 grain, 0 issues at all feeding them, and overall reliability, you absolutely can't do any better than that. Price point is going to be right in line with your current shields, so depending on the model that you're looking at, it's going to vary. So street price right now, you can, if you look around, you can find shields for, you know, $450 and under, and then of course if you bump it up to performance center models, that price goes up because they have more features. So that's what the pricing is going to be on this one. So I'm not sure on the MSRP. I don't have that off the top of my head, but price point wise, it's an excellent value. You know, you look at the other competitive offerings that we just showed you, and it is either cheaper or right at the same price point as those. And shields have just been proven guns since the beginning. You know, even the Gen 1 shields that people had their gripes about with the trigger and things like that, there was never the gripe that the guns didn't work right? That was never the case. They always ran and have been super reliable guns, and the Shield Plus continues on with that tradition. This gun is going to be going in my carry rotation because right now I carry a 2.0 Shield all the time, and this one here is going to be replacing it. I'm going to put a few more rounds through it just to kind of make sure, as I always do with any gun that I'm going to carry. But yeah, performance-wise, can't really do any better than that. If you guys have any questions about the pistol, anything like that, you can always post down below in the comments section. As always, the best place to reach me is still over at my Facebook page. I don't see all the comments there like I used to, but I don't know why. That could come back any day. I used to be able to see all of them. Now I still see most of them, but not all of them. But that's still the best place to reach me if you guys actually have questions that you need answered. And additionally, speaking of ways to reach me, we do have 2 emails. So the first one that you see here on your screen, this one is for deals of the day. So if this thing goes on sale or comes in stock, because you know things are hard to find these days, as of 2021 anyway, we'll send out an email with this in it, so that way you guys can pick it up and there's no social media giant filtering my content in your eyes. And then additionally, we have just another email that is all the videos that have been up since the last email. So again, even if you're subscribed to the channel, which if you're not, please go ahead and do so. Even if you're subscribed to the channel, sometimes my subscribers don't see my videos in their YouTube feed. So with that, I blast it out and go straight into your email box. And again, there's no one filtering the content that I put out in your eyes. So there is that. Additionally, we are now over on the Warrior Poet Society Network. My content over there is free. There'll be a link down below for that. And then they also have premium content. And I do have a discount code for channel viewers for that. The premium content's really, really good. It's legit, like better than TV, or at least as good as TV, but the content is better, if that makes sense. So there is that. If you guys have any other questions, I think I already let you know how to contact me. All of my social media will be up here on your screen for you guys to follow me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very solid gun, performs excellent, and at this point, like I said, it's going in my carry rotation, so I really can't give it a higher compliment than that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.